and welcome to my review of the Screwtape Letters by C.S. Lewis. I started reading this book with my boyfriend in the beginning of July and we read it out loud to each other, and then we kind of took a break in August, not really reading a lot, and then we finished it here in the beginning of October. First of all, I want to say that this is a book that can highly affect your life, so be aware of that going into it. It can really change things, I think, in your life. It is definitely an eye-opener, and I think I gave it 4.5 stars because I thoroughly enjoyed it and got a lot out of it. At some points it was kind of difficult to read. If you don't know what the Screwtape Letters is about, it is about a senior devil writing to his nephew, who is kind of a devil trainee, and he is training to tempt people. So he has been assigned a human to tempt to the devil's side, and he has troubles how to tempt this human, and he gets help from his uncle who writes him letters. So we only have one-way communication. We don't hear letters back, but we get all the letters that he sends to his nephew. And in the beginning it's kind of difficult to distinguish how to read these letters, because when it says the enemy, it is God, and when it says our Father and stuff like that, it is the devil that's talked about. So in the beginning it was kind of difficult, okay, who are they talking about and stuff like that. But it was really, I think, impactful that it said the enemy when it talked about God, and it just spoke a lot into my life. A lot of these things that he suggests as good ideas on how to tempt a human and tempt a person was all very subtle. It wasn't please throw this into the face of someone and they'll be tempted and get away from God. It was more subtle things, make him believe that this little tiny thing is okay, because then you will have begun. It was very much do little things, and there were a lot of different topics discussed. There were sexual desires and money and friendship and envy and stuff like that discussed in these letters, and I would definitely recommend that you read it. For us, it was very great that we took a chapter at a time and didn't read a whole bunch. If I read it for myself, I think I would maybe have been caught up in trying to just read it from cover to cover, because it is a short book, but because we read it together and read it out loud, it is easier to after 4 or 5 pages, when a letter is done, just say, okay, that was that for now. And I think that is the best way to go around it. I mean, you could just read it from cover to cover in one sitting if you wanted, but I think you would get more out of it if you read a chapter and then just had it in the back of your mind for a day or two and then read another chapter or another letter. And I know that's what worked best for us. It was really great to be able to read it together and be able to discuss it together, so that is also a thing I would recommend you to do if you want to read this book. Get a study buddy or reading buddy, or what you want to call it, and read it with someone, maybe not out loud like me and my boyfriend did, but maybe just say, okay, by the end of this week we have to have read this chapter or 2 chapters or something like that, and have someone to discuss it with. Sometimes we didn't really discuss a certain chapter, but other times we would talk for an hour about a chapter almost, and it's just nice to have the option to discuss it with someone who has also just read it, and not just sit with it yourself and be I need to talk to someone and them not understanding because they haven't read it. It's definitely worth a read. I think it is worth a read for everyone, not just if you're a Christian, but for everyone to know, see how you're tempted to do things that aren't good for you, because it's not just about being tempted away from God, it's also being tempted to do things that you deep down know isn't right and is wrong. So yeah, I think it's definitely worth a read for everyone. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and hopefully I'll see you next time.